I had prepared for them to be part of the land and for me to be part of the land. I would say the biggest culture shock was I didn't realize how much, and I knew it in some way, but it didn't appear real until I was there, how much they use literally every part of the animal. And so, for example, the biggest shock to me was we're in these yurts, there's a fire tender, and he was very sweet. Every few hours, he'd make sure the fire was continuing to warm up these yurts for us even throughout the night. But what I didn't realize until like a few days into it was that they were actually using all of the yak dung to burn in the stove and to
Oh,
keep the food warm.
all
And
right.
so I was like, wow, there's this interesting smell. I'm like, oh, it just must be whatever what they're using. No, they were using yak dung.
Oh
And so
my
that was
gosh.
probably the biggest shock for me.
Yeah, talk about it. I think that's really interesting how they use the whole animal. I've read about it in history books, but to see it for yourself and to smell it and to just have all the senses immersed in this process, it's amazing. Now, in terms of nomadic life, I know you stayed with your nomadic family there. What did the daily life look like there?
A lot of herding of animals. They're up at just before the sun rises, and the people don't actually sleep. Like, the fire tender doesn't sleep. He stays up all night tending to fires, and then he takes a break in the day and someone else takes over. And so they're constantly working. They're constantly making sure things are running and going and people are warm and the food right after breakfast is finished, they're already after cleaning up, they're already preparing for lunch, right? So it just literally never stops. They're constantly making sure that they're in the rhythm of what schedule they need to be on in order to stay alive and stay afloat for the next day. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna sit back and relax. It's always a rhythm of labor and of love and cycling with the sun and when the sun sets, when the sun rises. And also things like taking care of the bathroom situation, making sure that like we had basically a little tent with a bag that had the toilet paper in it and then this giant hole. And then when there was too much in dirt in the giant hole, because what you do if you go number two is you would then take a little shovel and then kind of throw some dirt on top of it, right? And pat it down. And by that time, if five people, it was so funny. Me and the people there, that guests that came, we were all cracking up because before breakfast, everyone had their coffee and they're all standing outside in this line to go to there's a number two bathroom and a number one bathroom, and no one was at the number one bathroom. Everyone was at the number
So
two bathroom.
you know who's got to go number two. There's no hiding it.
Exactly. So we're all standing there with our coffees, freezing our butts off, looking at each other, cracking up, being like, well, hey, at least we have healthy bowel movements, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all that nomadic, fresh food that you're eating.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it was like some of the best food I've ever had in my life. So hearty, so nourishing, using every part of the animal, the bone. And I laughed because they were preparing more of the westernized food for the people because people come from all over the world, but most of the culture, the people that come are coming from more first world countries. And so they are taking all the like nice cuts of meat and they're giving it to us. Meanwhile, I see the nomadic people sitting in their own area of the yurt and they're gnawing the gristle off the giant bone of a yak. And I literally look over and I'm like, wait, I want that one though. I want
You're
to
like, I
gnaw.
want the authentic experience. Like, don't give me the nice cut.
Yeah. Like,
That's
I love
awesome.
chewing meat off the bone.
Well, it must be part of their culture that they are very welcoming to, we'll call the tourists newcomers or sojourners or strangers. They're nice to the tourists.